I'm Abby for Blazer Radio, and I'm here with Alexia and Stephen, and today we're talking about the domestic violence dispute between Cowboy star Greg Hardy and his now ex-girlfriend Nicole Holder. Back in 2013, at his North Carolina apartment, Greg Hardy and Nicole Holder got into an argument which led to a physical altercation and ended with the police being called. He was arrested and received some intense consequences. The NFL released a statement trying to take some of the heat off of Greg Hardy and put some positive attention towards other people in the league. They said that they were working hard to bring attention to the positive role models and to continue their education with all the members of the NFL family. Stephen, what do you think should have happened to Greg Hardy?
Greg Hardy basically got handled in a reasonable way, in my opinion. He missed 15 games of the entire regular season in 2014. Then he got suspended for another 4 games in this season of 2015 after initially getting suspended for 10 games and it getting reduced by the players union after they argued for his rights to be suspended that high. The only reason I say he got a fair shake is because he found a loophole in the legal system and he took advantage of it. He's basically an innocent person, even though everybody in the court of public opinion, including myself, think he's completely guilty. Legally, he is completely innocent. There's really no precedent for punishing a player to miss X amount of games or kicking him out the league the way people want to happen for somebody who's technically, legally innocent. So there's no real reason for him to be suspended or for him not to be playing. And the league was really in a tight spot because the information came out and it wasn't yet decided on what was going to happen yet because they had to wait for it to play out in the court system. So the league was in a tight spot. I don't know if they handled it perfectly, but I can't really say they handled it badly either.
I personally just it's like any other case a lot of the time, since they are celebrities or they are in the spotlight, they don't get the same amount of consequences as the rest of the world. They just kind of, like, the NFL is trying to evade the topic from him, and then they're just going into trying to bring attention to all the good players, or per se good players. Although it was a domestic violence and, being a woman, that is very hard to deal with. But I think everybody should, if they feel they learn from their mistakes, then it's no need for the rest of the world to continue to punish them for it.
I think the NFL sometimes puts a lot of heat on things that aren't as important. Like, we focus a lot on Des Bryant's bad attitude and things he says in press conferences and how Cam Newton celebrates after touchdowns, and they're so quick to throw in a fine or suspend for something as little as that. But when something bad or something really serious happens, such as domestic abuse, they're really quick to try and throw it under the rug and not make such a big deal out of it. And I think they need to work on prioritizing their punishments and how they handle different situations. And it shouldn't be different just because they're professional athletes. I think everyone should be treated the same, but I guess that's not always the case. There are even some other players in the NFL who took to social media and the internet to give their opinions on what happened. First, Greg Hardy himself, he went to Twitter and said, "Just had to say I express my regret for what happened in the past, and I'm dedicated to being the best person and teammate that I can be." Brandon Marshall also said, "I don't think he gets it. I don't think that he learned his lesson."
And then Ray Rice also spoke to ESPN, and he states that it really shouldn't take photos to understand the severity of the situation, especially in domestic violences. We shouldn't have to have a physical image just to understand that there is gravity to the situation. I think he seems to be an advocate for the domestic violence dispute, as also since he was one person in particular that also did have a domestic violence issue, and it seems like he's learned from the situation.
Nicole herself even said, when she was asked, what happened, she straight forward said that nothing is going to happen to him anyways. So it didn't really matter what she had to say about the situation because she even knew that, because of his privilege that he has, that he wasn't going to get punished as much as he should. Currently, his career is, I guess, doing okay. He was only suspended for 4 games after initially receiving 10-game suspension. Jerry Jones seems to be defending him, and they even have intentions of extending his contract for a longer period of time.
And that's basically just a point of the fact that when you're great at something, people make concessions for it. That's basically what it boils down to. Ray Rice isn't in the league right now because he isn't a good football player anymore. The last year of his career was 2014. He had the lowest yards per carry he had in his career. He had the lowest yards from scrimmage he had ever had in his career. He was the least productive he had ever been as a football player before his incident with domestic violence happened. So weighing it all out, the pros and the cons and what he could bring to an organization, no team is willing to take on the media backlash and the outcry of having a domestic violence offender on their roster. In contrast, Greg Hardy is one of the best people in the entire NFL at his position. He's incredibly productive. He's incredibly talented, even though by all practical purposes and all accounts from multiple people who've worked with him, even from his previous team in Carolina, everybody kind of considers him to be a bad guy. But people put up with it because he's very good at his job. We make concessions like that at every other conceivable workplace environment in the world. Entertainers, movie stars, because they have a rare, gifted talent, room is made for them, even though they make mistakes, including domestic violence from other celebrities and so forth.
So are you saying Ray Rice's situation was just like a series of unfortunate events that just so happened that his last year or his last season happened to be the same year that, his domestic case surfaced with him beating his wife?
I definitely think so.
Okay, well, Jerry Jones says that the team, they don't condone domestic violence, but Greg Hardy is a member of the team, and he's someone who's grateful for the opportunity he's been given to move forward with his life and career. So once again, defending Greg Hardy, and no one thinks he should be in trouble. He was originally sentenced to an 18-month probation and 60 days in jail. In the court hearing where he was going to appeal it, it's been said that Nicole Holder did not show up after receiving a financial settlement. So since she didn't show up, that led to no sentencing, and the entire case was dropped. So in reality, she was correct. She knew it was going to happen. She knew nothing was going to happen to him, and that just goes to show that, privilege does help you out a lot, and it helps you to be able to get out of sticky situations. I'm Abby.
I'm Alexia.
And I'm Stephen, and this is Blazer Radio signing off. Have a good day.